How do you convince Kenyans that you're dealing with the high cost of living when all we see are taxation measures, including what has been introduced today as proposals by the Minister for Treasury, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, which obviously appears to be another raft of taxation on top of what is happening right now?
Well, let me say that JJ and my good friend from Yatta, who we share the last part of the name Manyata, is actually being very naive on this. Because number one, when it comes to the issue of debt, it is very hard to compare Kenya with Japan. When you say Kenya GDP is at 68% and Japan is past 100%, you are comparing two economies that are not even equal in terms of what they do in terms of export. The amount of revenue Japan receives from its export in terms of foreign exchange, it is not comparable in this country. Now, let me just single it down to the cost of living. And JJ, it is true that the cost of living has actually increased a little bit. And I'll tell you why. The previous administration was so focused to winning the previous election that they were subsidizing at the consumption side of this country. We were subsidizing fuel, we were subsidizing unga, we were subsidizing almost everything, putting taxpayers' money to the consumption side. And I am very happy, and I want to say that I have been following keenly, including reading the budget that we have read. This is the first budget that is going to be a Kenya Kwanza budget that is being implemented right now. We have put money to ensure farmers are able to produce food, enough food. And I'll tell you, budget for agriculture has gone up, and it is right now at 50 billion Kenya shillings. And out of that, 8.6 billion is going for subsidizing fertilizer. I can tell you, JJ, there is no other way of lowering the cost of living than us producing our own food, making sure that we produce enough, and actually luring everybody to come back to their land instead of going to the street and putting the sufurias on the head and go produce food.
All right.
Now,
very quickly,
the issue of actually the increment in taxes is something that also we have to face the reality of it. The fact of the matter is, we, number one, have a problem with what we are collecting as a country. So, what did the president think about? Number one is everybody to tighten his belt. Number two, everybody to actually come up and bring something on the table in terms of the taxes of this country, so that we can be able to collect enough and be able to do these things that we want to do that will conjure the growth. And this includes the issue of value addition. And I want to tell you something about this country. We have to start doing value addition. The president has put in money through KIPES, putting money through the agricultural value chain, putting money to even artisan, and we have had of issues even of hides and skins. All these things, we need them so that we can start doing some export, so that we can get some extra money from outside and be able to get at least in the level of Japan, as my good friend from Yatta is dreaming.